Okay, here we have right here the temple. This is an artist rendition of the temple facing east this way. Okay, next slide. And this is that first one I was showing you. Here's the where Solomon's colonnade was at. The Al-Aqsa Mosque is there today. This is the court of the Gentiles. Temple's right there. Okay, next slide. This is the temple today. Right now, the Al-Aqsa Mosque stands right here. We're going to see a picture of the Al-Aqsa Mosque. You're going to be able to see these stairways here in just a second. This is the southern wall. I'm going to show you the southern wall here a little bit. This is the southeast corner of the Temple Mount. This is the southwest corner of the Temple Mount. I'm going to show you a road that runs right along here in just a second. I'm going to show you the steps that come right up in here and the foundation stones of the wall right here. Next slide, please. This is another picture of the temple from underneath by the Western Wall tunnels. This is a model they've got set up. Next slide, please. Okay, stop. Go back. Besides saying that's a temple. Can you go back as a reverse? There it is. Okay. We're looking at it from the east. We're looking at it from the Mount of Olives. This is the court of the Gentiles. This is Solomon's colonnade where the Sanhedrin met. The early church met there. All the way around, there's a colonnade going all the way around there. They would meet in that or down in here. And then this would be the temple. Okay, now, next slide. Now we're looking at it. There's Mount of Olives in the background, looking at it from the other side. And there's Solomon's colonnade, court of the Gentiles. We're going to look at this road here in just a minute. It's been excavated. This road here, we're going to see the remains of it all. We're going to see this corner. We're going to see these stairs and these stones right here. In fact, we're going to see the lintel of this gate right here, the triple gate right there. Okay, next slide, please. So here we go. This is me standing on the Temple Mount in the southeast corner. The Mount of Olives is on that side. South is this way. So if you look on the map, you look at the little diagram right here, I would be standing right here in this corner. Okay, next slide, please. This is me standing in that corner, the southwest corner, looking towards the middle. Okay, if I'm standing in the southwest corner, the Solomon's colonnade is on this side right here, or the Al-Aqsa Mosque. You can see it right there. The temple is right underneath the dome of the rock right there. This right here would be the eastern wall, and the Kidron Valley and Mount of Olives is back there. That's what the Temple Mount looks like. This would be the court of the Gentiles right up in there. The Muslims have let trees grow. The Jews didn't have trees on the Temple Mount. The Jews are kind of upset about trees on the Temple Mount because the Bible doesn't call for trees on the Temple Mount. But since it makes the Jews mad, the Muslims plant trees on the Temple Mount. Okay, next. Again, there's the Al-Aqsa Mosque, court of the Gentiles. This is where Jesus would probably have been teaching in that general area. About 3 feet below this surface is the Herodian stones. Okay, this is not the Herodian stones. They've been covered up with years of junk and debris. It's been leveled off, and these are new stones. If you dig down, I didn't try it, but if you lift up one of those stones right here and start digging, you'll find Herodian temple stones. Next. That's the Al-Aqsa Mosque. If you go down this stairway right here, you come right out that double gate. It's blocked shut, but that is still, it's now a mosque down there. But those are actually the steps that you come up and enter the Temple Mount in Jesus' day. And that's the Al-Aqsa Mosque standing right where Solomon's colonnade was. Next, please. Oh, there's those stairs. If you run down there, you could actually come out the double gate if it was open, but you'd get shot. But next slide, please. This is Tony standing in front of the Dome of the Rock where the temple. She'd be basically standing right about in the court of the men, or the Israeli men, and the altar burnt offering would be right behind her, right on the other side of those trees. Next, please. Okay, now we're looking out one of the windows on little arrow loops on the eastern wall, looking into the Kidron Valley. See that? I'm looking out of the Temple Mount, looking down. Mount of Olives is right over there. There's one of the whitewashed tombs that Jesus could have referred to. It was built in his day. And you're looking down to the Kidron Valley. You're looking right on the Temple Mount, just looking at a little arrow loop where they used to shoot arrows out at the enemies during the days of the Middle Ages. And that's how deep the Kidron Valley is. Amazingly deep. Next. Okay, now we are on the south side. We're at the south side of the temple, looking up at it. Kidron Valley's here, Mount of Olives over here. Look at the south side. There's a series of steps going up there, okay? Now, this wall was pushed over. This was pushed over by the Romans in 70 A.D. So that was part of it. But it was pushed down so low, almost down to the sidewalk, with that last row of stones. All they would have done is roll them over. So that last row of stones is still there. But everything that was built up has been rebuilt. Next slide, please. There's Tony standing on the steps. Again, that wall was pushed over, but it's been rebuilt through the years all the way around. And you go up these steps. You go up the steps into the triple gate and come out on the steps, or on the Temple Mount, or the double gate over on that side. The Jews would have used these steps in Jesus' day. If you don't mind, you can see some of the original steps right here. They've been worn. These have been repaid, but you can still see in many places they still have the original worn-off stones cut right in the bedrock. Next slide, please. We're going to go up those stairs, and now, see, there's the stairs, and now you can see the original Herodian stones. The Romans pushed stuff over all the way down to there, but those they didn't push over because they're at basic ground level. You just would turn them over. And so those were left there, and then because the Temple Mount was rebuilt, then the Byzantine or the Muslims or somebody built the Temple Mount back up as far as the retaining wall. Okay, next slide. We're going to take a look at those Herodian stones. There's Tony. See how large they are? Huge stones. And these are not the largest ones. That's Tony standing in front of the southern side of the Temple Mount, and this is one of the master courses of very large stones, and those are Herodian stones. Jesus would have walked right here on this pavement. There's no doubt about it. And he would have walked right by those stones. Those are part of the stones. Next slide, please. Now I'm looking down, I'm looking right along the southern wall. That whole row right here is the Herodian stones. Everything else has been built up. Next slide, please. Okay, this is on the southern wall further down. There were shops on the southern wall, come down part of that southern wall. And you can't really see, but you can see right there, those were shops. The fire was so intense in 70 AD when the Romans burned it, that when the shops burnt, they burnt into, you can see the arches of the charred remains they burnt the limestone. This place was on fire. Josephus records that the whole earth was moaning. You could hear it moaning because the heat was so intense that the rocks in the mount were moaning themselves as they were just moving from the fire. It wasn't just a little bonfire. It was a conflagration unheard of. But nonetheless, that's the burnt marks in the limestones. Those are Herodian stones left from the times of Jesus on the southern side, further to the southeast side. Southeast side. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay, now we're going to go to the southwest corner. We're on the southwest corner looking at it. And this is now the southern wall that we've been talking about. Those burnt arches are down further here. Right up here is Robinson's Arch. You can see it maybe labeled on your map there, the diagram. That would usually be a very elaborate arch system that would come down a stairway system. That's all that remains. Okay, right here's the southeast or southwest corner. We're going to look at some of these stones, and we're going to look at the sidewalk here. Next, please. Next slide. Now we're looking straight up that corner, and here's some Herodian stones right here, but everything above it was pushed over. Next slide. And now we're just looking down at one of those Herodian stones on the south side, and we're going to go around the corner and up the west side of the building. Next slide. And that's that corner again. We're going to come around the corner, look this way. Next slide. I put that there for teaching purposes. I thought I might say something. Now, right on top of that corner, was where Josephus and the writings of the rabbi said that's where the priest would step up at the end of the day to sound his trumpet that the day was over, or that the Sabbath was beginning, or the Sabbath was ending. There's a place that says the place of the trumpeter. When they were excavating this place, was all the Romans just pushed stones over, just crushed, wiped the temple out in fulfillment of these words. When they were excavating it, they found this right here. That's the corner railing for the corner of that top corner. And right there, you can barely see it right in here. It's in the inscription right there. It says, the place of the trumpeter. That is right where the high priest would stand on the trumpet and announce the ending of the day. It is also most likely the place that James, Jesus' brother, was forced to stand by the Jews in 68 AD, right around 66 AD. And he was supposed to announce to the crowd below that Jesus was not the Messiah or the soon-coming king. And when he got placed there, instead he says, Jesus is the Messiah, he's the Christ, something to this effect, and the Jews pushed him over the edge, and he flipped over the edge, fell not to his death, great injury, and then they beat him with clubs until James, the author of your book of James, died. And that's recorded very accurately in church history. That's not a legend, that's church. Josephus even mentioned some things about James. That's from the temple. Look at that little lintel over there, little decoration. That's also from the temple that was pushed over. All these stones right here, rubble, pushed over from that. That's the Temple Mount right there piled up. This is the sidewalk. There's the curb, and there's some shops right there. This is the western side of the temple, and that's what the Romans did in 70 AD. This is the fulfillment of Matthew 24. Next slide, please. We just got some more rubble here. There's a picture of the rubble looking at the western wall there. The sidewalk that was crushed. I can tell you more about that. I'll keep moving. Next slide, please. And that's the close-up of the rubble. That's all from the Temple Mount that was pushed over. Next slide. And now we're going to be looking at it from the other way. Right now we're looking south That's the west corner, and that's the pavement right there that they would have walked on, and that's the remains of the temple that was up on top there. That's Tony sitting down there waiting for me to get done taking pictures. Poor girl. I think that's the end of the slides. What's we got next? Oh, a little decoration. This is something from the temple now. That's the stones, the decorative stones that was up there. So I mean, they find the remains of those things. I think that's it right there. And on your sheet of paper, you've got some of the details right there. That picture of, right here. This is a post. This is where the Roman legions stationed themselves. They were posted on the western part of the city, and they made a post, a pillar. Of course, it was higher at one time, but it's got the name of the director, the leader, the general of their division, and it's got right there, LEG 10, Legion 10. It's the legion that came out of Syria. The 10th Roman legion was the ones that destroyed Jerusalem, and there's their mark. It still remains there today.